Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner, and today I'm pleased to have our new Director of Community Development, I call it Planning, Steve Horn. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Jan. Glad to be here.
I'm happy to have you on board. I thought we could start off by you sharing with our viewers a little bit about yourself, what you've done in the past, and so people can get to know you a little bit.
Sure, glad to do that. I've actually coming back to Frederick County from a stint that I did back in 2002-03 when you were actually commissioner at that time.
Yep, I was.
But most recently I've been serving as the Director of Community Planning and Development for the City of Westminster. So I was appointed there by the Mayor and Council at that time. And prior to that I worked for two administrations of Board of Carroll County Commissioners. And then, so I've been in Central Maryland planning and development now, boy, for over 20 years.
Okay, so you bring lots of experience to the job, and you know I did know you when you were here. I don't know, I guess that's over 10 years ago now, because at one time I was a member of the Planning Commission, and I can remember your work with the Planning Commission during that time period.
Yes.
And of course, planning in Maryland is a little bit different than it is in a lot of other states. We do value land use planning here in our state, and so we have different rules and regulations on how we do our comprehensive plans. But one of the things that I'm really looking for is to make sure that we engage everybody in the public process. Land use and how the county grows is often contentious, and I want to make sure that people feel that their voice is heard, that they have a process where they can participate in a meaningful way. And certainly we also have to balance and hear from the development side as well, so that we are friendly to business.
Yes.
and also address the needs of our citizens. So I always say it's the toughest job in the county, and it's all about balancing those legitimate competing needs and interests. So why don't you talk a little bit about how we can ensure a good public process?
Okay, that's a great question. We're clearly, planning is process. It's all about how we go about planning for future growth and development. Frederick County's done a good job in the past of doing that. There's some good plans in place, but clearly we've got opportunities to improve on those. I'm looking forward to that challenge. One of the changes that's taken place in the past several years in terms of public outreach and opportunities for public involvement is social media. We can do lots of neat interactive things with the public, which in the past we haven't been able to do. Okay. We have a lot of folks that are very busy in the evenings. It's difficult for them to come out and participate in evening sessions and things of that nature. But with social media options, we can invite comments and interaction with them just from their living rooms, when it's convenient for them to participate. So by good public processes, by transparency in what we're trying to do, and inviting public review, and I think clearly it results in a better process and a better planning product for the county. So we look forward to that.
So we do have 12 municipalities in Frederick County, and of course our growth should happen in and around our municipalities, and I do think that's even more important as we see a younger generation who really likes the urban living, really wants to live near where they work, unlike their parents who are seemingly more willing to commute to a job. So what are your suggestions and ideas for collaborating with our municipal governments?
Well, having just come from 3.5 years with a municipal government, I do have a good perspective on that, and I've got to agree with your assessment. The younger folks, the millennials as they're currently called, are much more interested in what we've called in the past more of a smart growth development pattern. They like the idea of being in town. They want to be close to services and conveniences, and they want to go and patronize local businesses, and so Frederick's a great example of that. Downtown's a great example of that. So our process needs to look to focus on our Main Street communities or downtowns, and to help in ways that we can municipal governments revitalize, or to look to grow in sensible ways, provide adequate infrastructure for growth, and even look to boost things like telecommunications activities, where millennials tend to use a lot more data on their phones, and they're very much technology oriented. So if there are emerging technologies we can use to improve access to that kind of infrastructure in some of our more urban areas, and we can look to do that as well. And again, social media becomes an important part of that as well.
Well, the city of Frederick is really very vibrant. There's a lot of nightlife here, and I think it's very attractive to that youngest generation, the millennials. And so I really do think that's where our growth, both job and housing, should be focused. But we do have some smaller communities, out in the more rural parts of our county, that need something different, that need a little bit of more of a Main Street program to help them their downtown stay vibrant in some cases, to address the vacancy issues. So do you have any ideas on how we can assist in that way?
Well, I think we can help in terms of reaching out to maybe some state resources under sustainable planning and programs that they can take advantage of. I know in my previous experience, becoming a sustainable community leads to all kinds of options and opportunities for municipal governments and small towns to take advantage of things that can help them kind of keep up with the pace of growth and development, and even to become more inviting to that. But again, as you mentioned earlier on, we look to balance these opportunities. Some municipalities are more prepared for growth and development, others maybe not so much. And so we can look to help them kind of determine what's best for them, what's in their best interest, and leverage as many resources as we can, both locally and at the state level, and possibly beyond.
Possibly even looking at federal grants to help with planning processes and charrettes and transportation planning.
Absolutely,
because all of these things go together. And we really do need to focus on planning and our long-term planning. We know we're going to have an aging population here, and we know that we really need to attract the millennials to keep that economic prosperity going. So talk to me a little bit about, I think you've been back for just a few weeks here working as a division director. We have a lot of good employees in Frederick County government. I think they've really been asked to do a lot of work over the last few years, and I really want to express some appreciation for the work of the staff. So can you comment on, how you found things so far, and maybe where you want to go?
I can say, I'll echo that. They've done a very tremendous job in the past several years under what I'll describe as some difficult circumstances at times. They've done tremendous work. They're very committed people. They've continued to not only maintain but improve a level of service, even while staff levels were being reduced. And really, the focus has been in a large part on the planning and development review side, has been on plan review, and for good reason. That was what was the pressing need at the time. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get back to doing some more long-range thinking. Look to opportunities for community revitalization. Along some of those lines, we could. Maybe hope for some time to try to focus on those issues, and also work with our sustainability office, kind of continue to grow the Green Homes Challenge, for example. Some of the neat things that are happening in the county's Community Development Division that we'd love to be able to kind of continue and expand upon. But having said all that, I think as you did last week, and we have an opportunity to do today, is to thank the staff for the efforts that they've put forward in some difficult circumstances, and they did a great job.
Yes, they did. So I do want to share your value for the staff in your division. I think they've really done a good job and a lot of work under difficult circumstances. But moving forward, I do want to have a greater focus on planning, on good land use, long-term planning. I do want to make sure we have public processes that are welcoming to citizens, where their input can be incorporated and into this decision-making process. And eventually, we are going to have to talk about going back and updating our county comprehensive plan to match some of the zoning decisions that have been made over recent years. We really need to talk about how we're going to put a stepped-up plan to move forward so that we can preserve the things we love about Frederick County as the county grows, and so that we can engage the public and make sure that our future happens well. And so it's easy to say, it's much harder to do.
It is indeed.
And that is a task we have. I certainly want to do some things like look at restoring a functional, adequate public facilities ordinance. So there's a lot of things that are going to be on your plate. So I'm very pleased to welcome you to Frederick County, and I really look forward to a new attitude and a lot of good land use moving forward.
Jan, thank you so much for the opportunity. I certainly appreciate your confidence, and I want to thank the council as well for the confirmation, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Well, now, if somebody wants to get a hold of you or wants to get a hold of the planning department, how can they go about doing that?
The best option is to go to the Frederick County webpage and scroll down to the Community Development Division. All of our contact information is there, and I look forward to hearing from anybody that has any questions.
All right. Well, thank you. I look forward to working with you. Your plate's going to be full for the next few years. There's a lot to do, but it'll be fabulous. So thank you very much. And thank you for joining us for this edition of Community Conversations. Land use and how the county grows is really important to all of us who live here. We want to have economic prosperity, and we want to maintain our high quality of life. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you for the next edition of Community Conversations.